One of the most curious and paradigmatic examples of the metaphysical conceit in John Donne's poetry comes in his A Valediction Forbidden Mourning. It's a curious collection of mismatched items, of mismatched ideas that find a way to work together in producing something quite extraordinary, which is, in many respects, the larger story of the content of the poem, which is essentially about a husband going on a trip. Biographically, John Donne was heading off to try and salvage his career, or at least restart his career, and he was going on a fairly extended trip. And he wrote this as a kind of occasional verse for his wife, who was perhaps being a little clingy, being a little anxious that he was leaving for so long. And he was trying to dispel that a little. Underneath all of this, of course, is the anxiety that he feels, and perhaps a little resentment that he feels about the damage to his career that his marriage has done. Marrying his wife scuttled many of his ambitions, and here he is trying to get some traction on his professional hopes, and still his wife is here trying to hold him back. And maybe that could be a horribly inappropriate and even misogynist reading, but I think there is a legitimate element of that here that needs to be acknowledged. But the poem itself, as a poem, does an awful lot of that mismatched cohesion that you could say their marriage represents, and the architectonics of the poem itself display many variations of this. Anyway, great poem. A Valediction Forbidden Mourning. As virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, while some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say no. So let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor sigh tempests move. 'Twere profanation of our joys to tell the laity our love. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears, men reckon what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spheres, though greater far, is innocent. Dull sublunary lovers' love, whose soul is sense, cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. But we, by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is, assured of the mind, care less eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion, like gold to airy thinness beat. If they be two, they are two so as stiff twin compasses are two. Thy soul, the fixed foot, makes no show to move, but doth if the other do. And though it in the center sit, yet when the other far doth roam, it leans and hearkens after it, and grows erect as that comes home. Such wilt thou be to me, who must like the other foot obliquely run. Thy firmness makes my circle just, and makes me end where I begun. This is extraordinarily a poem about the drawing of a circle with a compass. One of those little things that you draw a perfect circle with, where you put it has a needle or a anchor of some form that you put on a page, and then usually with a pencil or something in the other half, you can twist it and create a circle. It is a standard tool for geometry, quite frankly. But also obviously architecture and all the things where you have to have a really good hand. But the the symbol of it is curious. Here the poem is saying, in the poetic speaker's voice, that you don't need to miss me because, yes, I may be going away, but we are linked by something special. And you will stay put here like the foot of the compass, and I will go and draw the circle around because I will have to go around and obliquely run. The metaphor is challenging, or is it a metaphor or a simile? I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but it is a geometrical tool being likened to a marriage. Geometry, a kind of abstract math in this phase. It's still very idealized. The idea of a perfect circle is largely ideal, but it is a venture of pure imagination, a venture of the mind. And this is being coupled here with a venture of love as an example of love. So here we have this weird symbol of the compass, and it's referent in love. So the mind and the heart. These two twin poles of humanism, quite frankly, which at the same time is another conjoining of the ideal and the real. Here you have a very real union, a very real marriage, a relationship between these two human beings, and yet he is trying to, in this poem, the poetic speaker is trying to elevate that to not just an ordinary relationship among human beings who might miss one another, but to elevate it to a kind of spiritual realm, an ideal realm. You get these hints where he is always trying to suggest that it is something more special, more ideal than the mere profanation of joys on earth. 'Twere profanation of our joys to tell the laity our love, to tell the ordinary people we are, after all, by experiencing our love, we are semi-divine almost. We are practitioners, we are the clergy, if you will, of love. And so we are separate, and you don't have to worry about all of those earthly concerns like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to go away and physical lusts are going to overtake me when I am alone in a faraway city. But all of this is churning throughout the poem. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears, men reckon what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spheres, though greater far, is innocent. Trepidation of the spheres, the cosmological view of the Middle Ages, really. But that notion of this has nothing to do with that. This is special. Dull sublunary lovers, ordinary people who worship or who love on earth, in the realm of the spheres that is very mundane, cannot admit absence. They can't deal with it because, you know, they're animals basically, and they're going to, yes, go wander the minute they're alone and a little. But you don't have to worry about that, sweetheart, because we are special. We are semi-divine again, and the experience of our love is something so unique, something so special, something divine in its own right, that we have no concourse with these other issues of ordinary human beings. But we, by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is not intellectual even at this point. inter-assured of the mind, care less, eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Because we are so special, because we are so refined, we don't have to worry about eyes, lips, hands to miss. We won't miss those fleshly, curiously, contacting examples of our union. Eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Those points of contact between lovers. Two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet the breach, but an expansion like gold to airy thinness beat. Airy thinness, gold that has been pounded into a kind of gossamer-like substance that is an earthly metal made light and evanescent. And then the example of the compasses, which is just one little element that is going on here that is just curious. You know, the metaphysical conceit, these two weird ideas just kind of hodgepodge together, yes, is a manifestation of the idea of Donne's wedding or marriage to begin with, but it is a curious analog throughout. The whole idea at the beginning, as virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, this is a dying man, and you're starting a poem about marriage and love by talking about death. Curious mixture there. You know, that's a grabber. That tells you, wow, this is a little different. While some of their sad friends do say the breath goes now, and some say no. Human misinterpretation. These people are standing around this person who is dying, and some say, "Oh, that's his last breath. He's dead now." Human misinterpretation, a misreading of reality, a misreading of human physical reality. I think that's very important too, because you can see the through line throughout then. But that notion of humans attempting to understand something as semi-divine, as otherworldly, as abstract as death, and trying to understand something as abstract and semi-divine as love, and trying to read what's going on, what's really happening. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? I don't know. That through line follows from the beginning stanza right through the end, where even these semi-divine lovers are trying to figure out their love, are trying to figure out its character, its divinity.